The other channel, you've got WrestleMania 10 happening at Madison Square Garden. Two of the greatest Mania matches ever. Brett and Owen get us started, and boy, Shawn and Razor just stole the show with the ladder match.
Yeah.
Are you keeping up with what's happening on the other channel?
A little bit, yeah, as much as we can. I don't know if we had certainly no DVRs. I guess you could record things.
Yeah, VHS, yeah.
You could record on VHS. You're catching stuff whenever you can. We're not always working on a Monday night, so I'm watching Monday Night Raw whenever I can. Watch the Saturday Superstars whenever I can. So I'm aware of what's going on. I'm reading 2 newsletters at that time.
Torch and Observer?
Torch and Observer. And so I'm, at the very least, reading about it. I don't think I saw that ladder match. So I don't believe I saw that Mania for years after. Man, they made magic that night, and there have been other ladder matches. I guess Brett and Dynamite had set the bar pretty high, especially with feats of daring. And but Scott and Shawn just told such an incredible story that night at the Garden, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
It feels like that would have been right up your alley. You know, the use of props and height, and I don't know. It felt like something you would have said, okay, I can get behind.
Yeah, I don't know if I could hang with the modern day practitioners of the ladder matches because there's such great athleticism.
Yeah.
You know, I had a few good ladder matches in my day, and even at Mania with me and Funk in '98, Billy Gunn and I took a really cool dual bump off the ladder into the dumpster, which certainly felt a lot higher at the time than it looked. You know, and you're crashing down, you hope you're going to make it. You know, there's not much room for error because if you don't make it right into the middle of that thing, you could get your head dinged, could get your knees banged up. And so we were both glad to have been in one piece.
And then, of course, we'd be remiss if we didn't mention between Super Brawl and Spring Stampede, this is where you lose the ear in Germany.
It's between. Oh, wait, are you sure I didn't? Oh, between Spring Stampede and Super Brawl. Yes. Okay, gotcha.
So check that out in the archives. We've already covered that. But in your mind, when the ear comes off, I mean, there's no way you want to miss a pay-per-view, right? Now, in this era, you're not getting necessarily pay-per-view bonuses, are you?
No.
But it's just a point of pride. This is a pay-per-view. I want to be on it.
More of a point of pride, yeah, that you're not going to miss. You're not going to miss pay-per-view because of this, especially because I was so excited about the prospects of having that capitalized on. And I really enjoyed working with Max. You know, I understood, we've talked in the past episode about the ebbs and flows.
Yes.
I don't need to be on the top of the card all the time. This is a good spot. We have good chemistry with these guys, but surely the company's going to do something about this. And so I'm on a real down, and also just physiologically, it was explained to me, now your body is not what it was because part of it's gone. So it's very common to suffer depression following that because you are almost like mourning the loss of part of yourself.
Wow.
As crazy as that sounds.
Does it also affect your equilibrium?
It did a little bit. And I remember I was keeping a journal at that time, and the journal, it was kind of a downer, you know. I wasn't as fun to be around, and I was always, for my younger kids, I was always the dad who wanted to do stuff, and then I become the dad who was laying in bed all day. So I think it was a combination of the physiological aspect of losing your ear, but probably more so the idea that they're not going to do anything with me.
You're right.
You know.
And the other channel, boy, it's not all roses up there either. So I could see why you maybe felt like, man, this isn't working out the way I hoped. Because in the middle of you losing your ear and they're not doing anything with it, and you feel like, oh, this is probably not the perfect spot for me. Vince McMahon's on trial for steroids. And at that point, all the other territories are pretty much gone. You know, you've got some small little independent promoters here or there, but as far as making a full-time living in wrestling, if you can't do it in WCW and you can't do it in the WWF because maybe things are changing there with maybe Vince going away, you have to, at least in the back of your mind, be thinking, is my dream slipping away, right?
You have ways to make a living in Japan. Guys are still going to Puerto Rico. ECW is a thing and it's on the rise. I can't remember if it was under Eddie Gilbert then or when Paulie.
Paul was doing it by then.
Okay, Paul was doing it by then. But especially when you know the other company's not interested in you, it is, in Bill Watts' word, a buyer's market.
Yes.
And I'm a seller, and I have nowhere else to sell my goods. But I'm aware that independents are out there. And I think, you know, based on the fact that I was making $250 a night in 1990, my spot's a lot better. Independent promoters know I'm going to come in and I'm going to give them the best match I can.
Yeah.
And I believe I can make $500 a night. So I'm going to be, you know, a grand a week instead of $3,000 a week, but I'm doing it on my own. And I'm finding some place to do it away from the cameras of WCW. That was definitely entertaining, that thought. I'd say largely because of the failure to follow up on what I thought was
a gimme.
Yeah, a gimme, which is the missing year in wrestling.
Talking about Vince, though, were you concerned that, hey, if Vince goes down, that's going to be damning for the whole industry?
Sure, yeah.
I mean, on some level, I'm sure some people would say, oh, well, it could be an opportunity for WCW, but I tend to think if Vince really went under, man, that could have been catastrophic for the whole industry, right?
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, we needed Vince, and guys in WCW needed another place to go. For the sake, you know, I always detested that term, buyer's market.
Yeah.
You know, like we're soybeans or pork bellies. So I never liked that, and I always liked the idea, and still do, that there's some place for the guys, men and women, to go.